you so much for joining us for our restorative mobility yoga class. We'll start out today by lying down on the back. Take Shavasana with your legs long, your arms long. And close the eyes if you like, and if there's anything else that you need to make yourself comfortable, please do. And we'll take some time here to come into the body. We spend most of our day in our thinking mind. And so let's transition and welcome our presence into the body mind. And you can start by sensing your skin. Notice the pressure of where your body meets the floor. Feeling the supportive qualities of the earth. Allowing yourself to be held. Take note of the air on your skin. You might even take the temperature. Sense the texture of your clothing. Let's release the jaw. Letting go of the base of your tongue, also the roof of your mouth. And drop your eyes down. Smoothing across your eyebrows. And then releasing all the muscles beneath your scalp. Then shift your attention to your breath in its natural state, without trying to change it, but just noticing exactly how it is. And we'll begin to coax the breath out of hiding, creating a more informed breath. So as you inhale, feel yourself expand. With your exhales, very gently contract the low belly, feel it drop toward the floor. And continue this breath. And I invite you, as you inhale, to feel the breath in your nose. Now, as you exhale, hear the breath in your throat. And continue like this. And our focus today will be to practice deep listening. Listening as a means of dissolving the past, releasing the future, and anchoring into the present moment. It is said that listening is the ability to softly lean in and be willing to be changed by what you hear. A willingness to lean in and be changed by what you hear. And we'll begin. Take a big full body stretch with your arms long, your legs long. You can roll out your ankles, your toes. Get any crunchies out of there. And with your arms to a cactus, go ahead and slide your feet in so that your feet are hip distance apart. Hip distance apart with the feet. Now on an inhale, arch your spine. So you're creating a little bit of space on the low back. If I was there, I could slide my hand underneath your back in the floor. And your chin will go towards your chest. Take an inhale here. Let it fill up your low belly. Exhale, round your spine. So turn your tail up towards your knees. Your hips might lift up off the floor an inch or two. You don't need to get too carried away with that. Now tilt your head up and back. You can look towards me if you're confused, kind of a weird one. So tilting your head up and back so you're opening up the front of the throat. Now for the cherry on top, press your elbows down into the floor. You'll feel your whole body light up. So this is our exhale. Go ahead and pull out all the air. And inhale, relax completely. Pause for a moment, just notice how that felt. And so we'll put this into vinyasa, put it into breath to movement. On your inhale, arch your spine, chin towards your chest. Exhale, round your spine, turning your tail up, tilt your chin back, and also press the elbows down. Inhale to arch. Exhale to round. Take your time, take a few of these on your own. On your inhale, you might even let your heels lift just a bit. On your exhale, dropping your heels, maybe the balls of the feet get light. And as you roll through these, sense the back of the skull and how it rocks back and forth with each breath and each movement. This is our cranial sacral rock. The rhythm is nice and stabilizing for the amygdala, the emotional center of the brain. And we use this rhythm to bring a stabilizing and calming sense to the nervous system. And finish up one more of each. Next time you're back to center, you can pause. Slide both legs long. Release your arms alongside of you, and we'll take just a moment or two to breathe. Noticing any changes that you might have made in your body. All right, bring your knees in. With your right arm up overhead, roll onto your right side and press yourself up into a comfortable seat. Now you get to choose. So you might choose to sit kneeling, you can sit cross-legged. Of course, you're welcome to grab any props that might help you to be more comfortable here. Reach your arms out to a T. Stretch through the tips of your fingers, so much that you get a gentle stretch in your neck. Then turn your palms up toward the ceiling. Switch it out, turn your palms the opposite way, so you're internally rotating. Go as far as you can, comfortably, and flip it the other way. So we're just playing with internal and external rotation of the shoulders. And then we're using the hands. Feel what it's like to initiate the movement from the hands. And then stretch your attention up to the tops of your arm bones, right where they plug into your torso. And then feel what it is to rotate your arm from the tops of the, I think I said thigh bones before, tops of the arm bones. The thighs of the chest. And next time your palms are turned up in external rotation, take the tips of your fingers to your shoulders. And we'll do a backwards rotation, so just reaching your elbows back and around. You can take these as slowly or quickly as you like. I really enjoy drawing big circles and exploring that full range of motion. And we'll take it the opposite direction. So this time elbows come forward and around. And admittedly, I think the first time I did this, that forward action kind of broke my brain a little bit. It's like, wait, what? What's forward? So be prepared for patience whenever we rewind the actions, which we'll be doing a bit of today throughout our practice. Okay, now coming back to neutral, one elbow at a time, go back, and then you'll do a gentle twist in that direction. So one at a time, we'll twist in that direction, and I like to look toward the top elbow and bring the neck into the equation as well. You might feel the weight shifting on your sit bones. That's fine, but encourage the sit bones to stay rooted rather than lifted. All right. When you're balanced on both sides, you can come back to center, rest your hands, and with your chin down, just draw a circle with the head. It can be as slow or fast as you like, up to you. And continue to practice your breath while you're here. Allow your jaw to be very relaxed. Change directions, take your circle the other way. We listen to the body, listen to the breath as we do this. And you might notice that there can be barriers to listening. So identify what those barriers are to you. Could be internal thoughts, maybe analyzing, comparing, daydreaming. We don't need to make it bad or good, but we just notice our habits. And then coming back to center with your neck. Gently say no with the head, so you're looking from one side to the other. As you do, hear the breath through your throat as you exhale. And feel the breath in your nose as you inhale. Let's turn it into a yes nod. This time looking up and then down. Slow and steady as you do. You may even allow your breath to last just a little bit longer than the movement itself. All right, nicely done. Okay, come back to neutral when you're ready. Take your time, of course. And we'll set the hips to one side and bring your legs around. And you can draw some circles with your ankles. You might wiggle out your toes. You can even give yourself a little hammering out of the legs. Now bend your knees in with your feet, let's say about mat distance apart. About mat distance apart, and hands come behind you. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see a little better. Then drop your knees to the right. As you can see, mine don't touch the ground, and that's okay if yours don't either. Let them get heavy. We'll inhale. Exhale, center. Drop your knees to the left. Thigh bones heavy, knees heavy. Inhale. Exhale, center. Now we'll take it with the breath. Inhale to drop. Exhale, center. You can cruise through these at your own pace, observing your thigh bones and how they move. Noticing the rotation in the hip socket. So you can continue with this movement if this is feeling like enough for you. If you want to add on a little bit more, next time you come back to center, you take your hands onto the back of your skull. And then when you drop your knees to the side, you'll turn your chest in the direction that the knees have dropped. So again, a bit of a side body stretch as we enjoy a twist. We'll exhale in our twist. Inhale back to center. Drop your knees the opposite direction. Exhale, twist through the upper back, the torso. Inhale, center. Take a few of these on your own. And again, letting your breath be just a little longer than the movement. Next time you're balanced out on both sides, can come on back to center. Release your hands. You'll cross your heels and we'll come forward into a tabletop. Into your table, bring your toes together, knees can separate, let's say shoulder, maybe hip distance apart. Take a seat on your heels for child's pose and slide your arms forward. You can rest your forehead. And guide your breath into your back body. Sensing the rhythm of your breathing. Okay, keep your hips heavy and you'll walk your hands over toward the right side, hands toward the right. Slide your right hand towards your body a bit more so its wrist is right underneath the elbow, and then you'll spin your fingers towards you, which is kind of funky. So fingers spin towards you. Then as you push your left hand down and away, push your right hand down and away. So both hands, almost like these little levers just reaching out from the body. Dissolve any tightness in the neck, instead let your forehead rest. You might even play with breathing into your left lung, expanding through the left side of the body. And listening to the breath come and go. Inhale. Exhale, release. Walk your hands back toward the center. And then we'll walk them over to the left side. Hands to the left side. Slide your left hand back so that your wrist is underneath your elbow. Then turn your fingers towards you. Now both hands push down and out into the floor. Let go of the head. Let your forehead rest. Send deep breaths into your right lung. Breathing space into the right side of the body. And in the same way that you would appreciate a friend or a partner listening to you from start to finish what you say, listen to the breath, start to finish. And practicing wholehearted presence. Inhale. Release, walk yourself back to center. And slide yourself up into a kneeling position. So you're just taking a casual seat on your heels. We'll take a variation on Sun Salute A to continue our listening journey. Lifting your hips up over your knees. Inhale, reach your arms up, eyes up. Keep inhaling just after you're done moving. Exhale, child's pose. Sitting back, turning your head inward. Exhaling just a little bit longer after you're done moving. Pull yourself forward. Inhale to tabletop, lengthening your heart away from your navel. Tuck your toes. Exhale, downward facing dog. Feel your hands push down and forward and your feet press down and back. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale to kneeling. Arms up, eyes up. Another round. Exhale, child's pose. Table inhale. Down dog, exhale. Inhale, table. Exhale, child's. Take one more round like this on your own. Just remember, each inhale, you'll look up. And each exhale, you'll look in. Part of our listening process is being able to repeat back what has been said. Next time you're in down dog, hold in your down dog. Surrender the neck. Relax, release the jaw. Okay, looking forward, step your right foot between your hand. And remember, you can always pick up your foot and carry it there if it doesn't quite make it. Also, if you have short legs, it doesn't have to be exactly between your hands. I've got short legs, so I tend to put my toes behind my wrist, and that's a more sound position. Short leg friends, I see you. So here in your lunge position, circle your hips to the right, out and around. And I know this is a weird one, but you're just drawing big circles with the hips. You know what? They can be small circles, whatever size. Go for your own creative interpretation of a hip circle. And be present with listening to the rotation of your thigh bone in the hip socket. What parts is it easy to circle through? And what parts do you just kind of want to rush through and get over with? Now we'll change the rotation of our circles, this time circling in and around, which if you haven't done this before can feel kind of funky to change directions. So be patient, doesn't have to be perfect. That's why we call it practice. Finish up your last rotation. And coming back to center, turn to the left. I'm going to switch directions so you can see a little bit better. But turn to the left, walk your hands toward the center for Skandasana. So bending into your right knee, you'll come onto the heel of your left foot. Heel of your left foot. You're welcome to continue using your hands here for support. Resist your feet apart from each other and feel the tops of your thigh bones pull in. So feet pull apart, thigh bones pull in. You can stay here with your hands to the floor, otherwise slide forward, almost like a down dog or a child's pose in the chest. Find peace within the pose. And listen to what parts of the body are talking to you here. And send your attention into those spaces. Last few breaths here. And hear the breath in your throat as you exhale. And feel it in your nostrils as you inhale. Take your time, walk your hands in if they're out, and then turn to the front of your mat, right back into the lunge that we were just in, and step back to downward facing dog. And your down dog, pausing, breathing into the space behind your knees. Step your left foot forward towards the hands, carrying it, of course, if you need to. Then you'll circle your hips out and around, just drawing big circles. Being a witness to the rotation of your thigh bone in the hip socket. Last rotation or two this direction. Then we'll change direction, so this time circling in and around. which might take a few tries to get the hang of. Be patient with it. Each inhale, continue to allow yourself to expand. Each exhale, gently contracting to empty. And last rotation or two, like this. All right. Next time you're back to center, we'll prepare for Skandasana. Pardon me. Turn to the right this time, coming onto the heel of your back foot as you bend into your front knee. A great place for blocks, of course, if you've got them. And you can use your hands for extra support, but feel your 2 feet push apart from each other as you hug your thigh bones in towards each other. So feet push apart, thigh bones hug in. You can keep your hands where they are or slide them forward for almost like a down dog or a child's pose variation. I really like to push that bent knee away from the body so you're creating more space between your ribs and your leg. And just a few more rounds of breath here. See if you can let your attention follow start to finish. Inhale. Lock your hands back in. Awesome job. Turn to face forward and step on back, downward facing dog. Feel your chest press back towards your legs. Your head and neck surrender down toward the earth. Sending a deep breath or two into the space behind the knees. Okay, let's walk the hands back towards the feet. Hands back towards the feet. Put a soft bend in your knees as you slow and steady roll yourself up to stand. Roll yourself up to stand. When you get to the top, you might take a few shoulder rolls. There you go. So once you're at the top, let's take the feet hip distance apart here. Hip distance apart. Clasp your hands and press your clasp right on the back of your head. So hands clasped on the back of the head. Now it's tempting to have your elbows wide here, and that's fine, it's not wrong. I like to bring the elbows closer towards each other because I find it more challenging for me. And that's usually where the work is in the challenge. So up to you, what you would like. We'll inhale here. Lift your arms up as you reach to the right. You're turning your clasp inside out. So palms turn up toward the ceiling. Reach to the right and look to the left. And ever so slightly turn your torso left. Inhale back to center. You can rest your hands. Reach to the left and look right. Inhale, center. On your exhale, reach up and sit straight back. And you don't have to go that low. Push your knees out as you do. If you'd like a full squat, that's there for you. But you can go as far as you want to. Push the floor away. Inhale, rest your hands, straighten the legs. We'll open the feet shoulder distance apart this time. Shoulder distance apart. Exhale, reach right and look left. Inhale, center. Exhale, reach left, look right. Inhale, center. Exhale, sit back as low or as shallow as you like, pressing your feet away from each other as you do. Inhale, push the floor away, come up and rest. Step your feet mat distance apart, reach to the right and look left, exhale. Inhale, center. Exhale, reach left, look right. Inhale, center. Exhale, sit back as low or as not low as you want. Inhale, push up back to standing. Hop everything back together. Exhale, release. Nicely done. One more balance strengthener before we kind of mellow out a little bit. Last one, promise. So lift up all 10 of your toes. So let's wake up our balance muscles. Lift up all 10 of your toes. Spread your feet out very wide. Then we'll drop just the big toes. Lift them up. Drop just the 8 little toes. Lift it up. And then just one more like that. Big toes drop. Lift. 8 little toes drop. Lift. Keep your toes spread and lower them back to the floor. Nicely done. I'll come to the side so you can see a little better. Shift into your left foot. Float your right foot. And with your arms forward, sit back a little bit. Doesn't have to be that much. Just sit back a little bit. And make sure that your standing knee doesn't go too far out in front of your toes. And inhale, push the floor away, come back to stand. Exhale, again, sit a little bit lower this time. Inhale, back to stand. Last one. Exhale again. Option to go lower. Inhale, back to stand. Exhale, release. Pause for a moment and listen to what's going on in the left leg there. You might feel or hear little pulses, little glimmers of sensation. All right, other side, take it into your right foot. Inhale, send your left foot forward, sit low. Make sure your knee doesn't go past your toes, please. Inhale, back to stand. Exhale, sit back, mind the knee. Inhale, stand. Last one. Exhale, sit it back. Up to you how low you'd like to go. Inhale, back to stand. Exhale, release completely. Pausing to observe the after effects of the pose. All right, folks, all downhill from here, promise. Turn to face the center of your mat and open yourself up nice and wide. Get this nice wide stance here. Arms wide, reach yourself out to a T. As you gently bend your right knee, you'll push your right knee to the side. Then left hand goes toward the right leg. Now you might tap your hand outside of your thigh, maybe your calf, or maybe even the foot. But wherever you are, tone your abdomen to turn up toward the ceiling. Pressing firmly into the feet and guiding your bent knee toward the right. Inhale. Exhale, back up to center. Bend your left knee. Can turn toward the left, tagging your hand wherever feels clever for you. Now once you've got that, push both feet down, press your bent knee out, and from the pit of your belly, turn up toward the ceiling. So gentle rotation through the chest. Inhale here. Exhale back to center. We'll take this with the breath at our own pace. Inhale, bend right, reach right. Exhale, center. Inhale, bend left, reach left. Exhale, center. One more on each side on your own. Letting your breath be a little longer than your movement. Awesome job. Next time you're back to center, good news, we get to fold forward. So you'll take your hands below your shoulders. And many of you have probably heard me say this a million times. So if you know the pose, go into it. Enjoy your fold. If you're in this pose and you're just not comfortable, let's break it down together. So one option is to, if your spine is super rounded, then bend your knees and see if that helps straighten things out. So if your knees are bent, you'll stay in this position, pressing your hands forward and your feet back. If your legs are straight, then, and your spine is straight, then you can talk about walking your hands between your feet and enjoying the fold. And I'm a big fan of making your practice yours, right? Listening to what your body wants here. So if you have a different variation that you like to do in this form, please listen to your heart and do what you need. But wherever you are, we'll encourage you to feel the hands press down and forward and the feet press down and back. Kind of like these little levers opening up the backs of the legs. You might find some nuance of sensation and feel some heat coming into the face, into the head, as we increase our blood flow to our heart and our brain. Last breath or two here. Inhale. Take your time, lift up halfway. Well done, everyone. Walk your hands to a lunge facing forward, and then take your hands inside of your foot. Hands inside of your foot, and carefully drop your back knee down. Friends with more sensitive knees, this might be where you flip your mat over so that you've doubled up and you've got like a knee cushion situation is a great option here. Now turn your front toes out about 30 degrees. So front toes are turned out. Very good. Now as you look forward, feel your front heel and your back knee pull towards each other. Some of us might stay here. Others might consider taking your left hand forward and out. Forward and out, spinning your hand out, so it's almost like your thumb is straight ahead. Then with your front hand onto your knee, just a very gentle twist open to the side. Yeah. As your front knee pushes out, take your front heel and back knee towards each other. Very good. Finding the element of back bending in the chest. Very good. Check in with your bottom hand, so you're pressing your index and thumb down and turning your bottom bicep forward. Very good, awesome adjustments. Now we take a few rounds of breath to simply listen. Feel the breath in your nostrils. And hear the breath in your throat. Last few. Inhale. Slowly and carefully return back to center. Then turn your front toes straight ahead. Tuck your back toe with your back knee, and we'll step back into downward facing dog. In your down dog, do a little check-in of sensation. Listen to the variety of sensation between each leg, if there's any at all. Switch it out, step your left foot forward, take your hands inside of your foot, and take your time as you lower your back knee down. Feel free to double up your mat, get a little extra cush going. Now turn your front foot out about 30 degrees. I like to do tips of the fingers and then walk the right hand forward and out so your thumb is more straight ahead. Now let's do the arm here. So push down through your index and thumb and turn your bottom bicep out as you turn your chest open to the side. You can use your left hand to gently guide the knee out. Never pushing, never shoving, just a little gentle encouragement. Feel your front heel, back knee pull towards each other as you tone and carve your tailbone under. Allow this to create a back bend in the upper back and the upper chest. Listening to where your breath might be getting stuck, if anywhere. And observing where the breath flows freely. And consider growing the breath to be more of a globe, more circular. And taking up more space within your body. Last few breaths here. Inhale. Slowly untwist, coming back through center, through front foot forward. Carefully make your way to downward facing dog. From your dog, we'll roll forward to plank and lower all the way onto the belly. Once you're on your belly, take your hands behind your back and hold on to your left hand with your right hand. So hands are on the low back, holding on to the left. Push your feet down, push your front of your hips down. Now on an inhale, reach your left hand forward, lift through your chest and your head. Left thumb is up, fingers closed. Exhale, swim back, turn and look to the right. Switch it out. Inhale, reach your right hand forward, thumb up. Lengthening through the head and neck. Exhale, swim back, look left. Again, inhale, reach left, lift through the head. Exhale, back. Inhale, reach right, lifting from beneath the armpit. Exhale, swim back, look left. Take one more on each side on your own. Breathing length into the back of the skull. And then reaching from below the armpit rather than the neck. Once you've done one more on each side, inhale, reach both arms forward, press the tops of your feet down. Stay for an exhale. Once more, inhale, back of the skull. Stay for exhale. Reach your arms back, you can rest your right cheek. Feel the effort in your breathing. Maybe the extra heat in the back. Turn your left cheek. Okay, looking forward, slide your elbows forward into Sphinx pose. One way to Sphinx is to do your elbows right underneath your shoulders. If you have a more sensitive low back, or even if you just have like a really long torso and that just doesn't work, then you can also take your elbows forward so it's not as extreme. So whichever you need here. Feel your elbows drag back to lengthen your chest forward. Drop your hips down, drop the tops of your feet down. And breathing into the back of your body. Breathing into the back of the skull. Now you're welcome to stay here, or we'll take Sphinx Plus, bending your knees and rotating the legs out and around. We've been warming up this particular rotation today in different shapes. So same essence in different variations. You might notice in what ways the rotation feels different and in what ways they feel similar. Change the rotation, go in the other direction. Listening to what part of the rotation do you have the urge to rush through? Which part maybe is easier or more challenging? Okay. So staying here, come back to neutral. Come back to neutral. I want to give you some options here. So option 1, press your hips down and lift your knees, right? Which is no easy task. Step 2, option to reach your hands back. You can just let them kind of hover in space. Or step 3, you might grab hold of the outer edge of the ankles. Using the strength of your legs to stretch open the heart. Going more for length in the spine than anything else. Finding softness behind the eyes as you breathe into the back of your brain. Last 2 breaths here. Listening to them fully. Inhale. Exhale, slowly release. Take one hand on top of the other. You can rest your forehead or your chin. And just let your feet flop side to side. So releasing the low back. All right. Legs straight back, hands below your shoulders. We'll push up to a comfortable seat. You can set your hips to one side, bring your legs around. We'll come into Dandasana, staff pose. Now in Dandasana, hands next to your hips. Resist your legs down into the floor. Inner thighs as well, down into the floor. And lift your navel up away from your pubic bone. Heart is lifted and buoyant. Option to relax your chin down to your chest, get some length going there. Feel the connection of your hands on the floor. We'll inhale. On your exhale, start to slide your hands forward. Friends with tight hamstrings, always welcome to bend your knees, of course. Otherwise, pushing the legs down. We'll come in and out of this a few times, so we'll take our time warming up. Inhale back into Dandasana. Exhale, round your spine, lower down, take legs up the wall as you exhale. So some of us will stay in legs up the wall, and that will be our final form. Others, if you feel comfortable with it, you might come back towards plow pose, stacking your hips over your shoulders and taking the tops of the feet toward the ground. And of course, using your hands as support. Now, plow is to balance on the shoulders and not the neck. So if you feel any pressure of your neck, back up off it and relocate that work into your shoulders. On your next inhale, roll yourself into Dandasana, staff pose. Exhale, slide your hands forward, maybe a little further this time. Further is not necessarily better, so do you. Inhale, Dandasana, slide up. Exhale, legs up the wall or plow pose. Inhale, Dandasana. Exhale, forward fold. And continue, take a few rounds of this on your own. We're listening to our breath as a guide to follow the rhythm. And one of the results of that rhythm is feeling more calm, more stable, more at ease. So allowing our anchors to bring peace and ease into our being. Take your time. Next time you're in forward fold, hang out with it. And it's your choice. You can let this be a very casual and relaxed forward fold where you kind of just turn off and hang out. Or you can make it more engaged and instead feel the insides of your feet push out. The outsides of your feet pulled back towards you, possibly flaring the toes. If you're more engaged, you'll feel your thigh bones draw back toward the wall behind you. And your pelvis move forward out ahead of you. Last breath or two here. Inhale. Exhale, roll yourself up to a seat. Nicely done. Let's bring the feet together towards each other, setting up Baddha Konasana. Baddha Konasana is going to look very different for each of us. And that is the result of listening to where we need to go. So clasping your hands around your feet, lean yourself back so that your heart can come forward. Turn the eyes of your elbows forward and relax your chin down. This is our first option. You can hang out here, finding almost a balance with the lean. Or start to send your heart forward and hinge towards a fold. In the fold, feel your thigh bones go back behind you. And your pelvis go forward ahead of you. Now, if you're super mobile here and you're able to get your head to the ground, I'd encourage you to back up off it and instead resist that. Stay a little more lifted, which actually can require more work for a lot of us. Then if you want the challenge, then you'll clasp your hands, turn your clasp out, reach it forward. Maybe even biceps by the ears. Last few breaths here. Inhale. Exhale, come back to your seat, release. Beautifully done. Hands close your knees. Good news, it's time to roll onto our backs. You can lie down. Lie down on your back, give yourself a little hug with the legs. Gentle little side-to-side action. Now set the bottoms of your feet down hip distance apart, outer hip width distance apart. And with your arms alongside of you, we'll take some bridge pose variations. Inhale, lift your hips and both arms up, reach both arms up overhead, lifting your hips really high. Exhale, lower, back down, return your arms back alongside of you. Now we'll roll to the side this time. Inhale, lift your right arm and roll onto your left side. Keep both of your knees going forward using the strength of your legs. Exhale, come on back down. Other side. Inhale, lift your left arm, rolling onto your right arm, reaching a top arm behind you, knees forward. Exhale, come on back to center. Step your feet shoulder distance apart. Inhale, lift your hips and both arms, send your knees forward. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift your right arm and roll left. Hips are level. Exhale, take it back down. Inhale, lift your left arm, roll right. Exhale, back to center. Beautifully done. You can knock your knees together. One hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Take a moment to be still. All right, arms to a T. You can step your feet hip distance apart and lift your hips up and over to the left a few inches. Drop your knees right and look over your left shoulder. So just a gentle twist here to flush things out. Feel the weight of your bones grounding. and the lightness of your muscles draped over them.
Oh.
Inhale. And come on back to center. You can lift your hips up and over to the right a few inches. Drop your knees left. Looking over your right shoulder. Inhale. Back to center. And on your exhale, take your time. Release your legs long, your arms long. Coming into Shavasana, your resting pose. Then we practice our listening. Listening as the ability to lean in softly with a willingness to be changed by what is heard. And here we get to listen to the details of the immediate experience, what's going on around you, what's going on within you. And simply observe without any analysis, without any internal commentary, but instead a wholehearted attunement to the here and now. And if you feel yourself adrift, distracted or lost at all, come back to your anchors, back to how the skin feels, the air, the floor, your clothing. Back to the feeling of the breath in the nostrils. The sound of the breath in the throat. And allow your anchors to keep you in your body, keep you in the moment, so that past and future simply dissolve. And we experience the lightness of pure being. I'll give you a few moments to practice here, and I'll wake you momentarily when we're through. And take a mental snapshot of how it feels to be an embodiment of listening. And know that this is the space that connects us to the wisdom of our ancestors. Listening connects us to that ancestral knowledge, just as it does connect us to the unconditional love all around us. So in the spirit of listening, we embrace wisdom, we embrace love, and we know that it is always there for us when we need it. So take a moment to listen to which nostril is more clear. Which nostril is it easier to breathe out of right now? And with your knees in, roll to the side that it's easier to breathe out of. So for me, my right nostril is more open. I'm going to roll over onto my right side. Take a quick pause. And this pause may even out the nostril breath. As you're ready, come on up to a seat with your eyes closed, your palms connected together, bowing your intention inward. As we go through our week, may we dedicate ourselves to listening. May we attune to all of the details of our immediate experience, knowing that through that listening, we have access to ancestral wisdom. We have access to unconditional love that is always within us and without us. Simply through listening, our willingness to lean in softly and be changed by what we hear. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Namaste.